Hi, I'm Gord.
Hey, I'm Steph, and we are the hosts of the Not Fade Away podcast, where we dive into the magic of live music and the people that make it happen.
Tonight, we're so lucky to have a friend of mine, Scott Smith, join us here at the Not Fade Away headquarters here, which happens to be my jam space as well, and he's been here as well.
Welcome.
So Scott is a premier pedal steel player, slide player. I think he even played maybe some banjo, some other instruments.
I play a bit of banjo. I don't like to advertise that.
Yeah, string instruments.
I love banjo.
He sings. He's great. He's in quite a few different acts. His original act is Terminal Station. He might know him from Scott Smith and the Midnight Riders, which is a fantastic Allman Brothers tribute, as well as Scott Smith and the Evil Ways, which is the Santana tribute, and others. He plays with people all from Juno Award winners to, Barney Bentall, Jim Burns, et cetera. So
Legend.
love to have you here, Scott. So happy to have you here.
Yeah, thanks
Okay,
for
these are
having
not
me.
normal instruments. Let's just start there because, these are just not normal instruments that people...
Yeah, what made you want to play a pedal steel?
Well, I started playing guitar in grade 6.
Was that your first instrument?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I played a lot of slide guitar. But the pedal steel, I was already playing professionally. And then some point in my mid-20s, I was walking along Granville Street, went to a place called Not Just Another Music Store.
I remember that.
Remember that?
And jams.
And they had one there, a 1960 Fender pedal steel. I think I might have just gotten my credit card.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
First thing that you bought yourself?
And I was like, yeah, I'll get that.
I'll
learn how to do that.
Was there a pedal steel player that inspired you to even think that
Well,
way?
locally, there was Jimmy Roy from Ray Kondo.
Oh, yeah, of
and the
course. Yeah.
Ricochets. And there used to be a guy named Charlie Hayes who lived in Vancouver who played with a bunch of great people. Those were the local guys. When I heard them, I was like, I want to do that.
Okay, but let's just rewind because did you grow up in a music family? Did you?
No. Small family. It was just me and my parents. Neither of them played music.
No?
No.
Wow.
No gene in there.
Well, apparently my
Apparently
an uncle, a great uncle was a jazz sax player.
Okay.
But yeah, no, my parents were big music fans. But basically sometime, they always said, oh, if you feel like playing an instrument, let us know. And
So do they kind of
sometime, yeah.
want you to play, I guess? Want
guess
you to
so.
play?
Do you like the music that they played, or your different music than?
My mom had some good records. She had a Canned Heat record, which is a great blues band.
Yeah.
That had an effect on me for sure. But yeah, they just said, if you want to play an instrument, let us know. And I said, I wouldn't mind trying guitar. Because I'd seen the Stevie Ray Vaughan video. Do you know that song Cold Shot?
Of course.
And I'll try and
Feel free
I'll try
to
and
pick
recreate
up-
the video.
Please pick
The
up
video was made with about $75
You're welcome to play.
Yeah, no,
video.
seriously, start jamming if you want.
And in the video, there's this actress that plays his, nagging wife who says, you got to pick me or the guitar, and she keeps throwing his guitars out of their apartment on the 20th floor.
Don't do that to the guitar. Right?
And then he's just sitting there smoking a pipe, and then he grabs another guitar. And then she throws that one out the window, and he just keeps grabbing
Epic.
another
That is
guitar.
so epic.
So he had about,
It was like me and guys with surfboards at
12.
one point, but same
Yeah.
shit, different pile.
so it was a great song, and he had about, 12 different guitars in this video, and I was like, I want 12 guitars.
Yeah.
Like, how old were
And
you
I
at
do
this
have
point?
12 guitars.
Now you. Is
That
that
was a grade 5.
Grade 5.
Grade 5, yeah.
So you said you went professional. Like, what age was that?
Grade 5.
Sounds like it was early.
No. Well, I think the first gig I did was in grade 9.
Interesting.
Variety Club Telethon.
No way.
I played that once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my friend played a song we wrote.
That's pretty big for that age.
It was
That
pretty good.
is very
Queenie
big.
Theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bob McGrath, introduced us, and I was wearing acid wash jeans and white high tops, and my voice hadn't broken yet, and I remember when we were finished the song, We played the song well. We didn't make any mistakes, but when we were done, my hand was wet from like
Sweat.
nervous
Yeah.
sweat. And I haven't had stage fright since then. So it was
No?
like, it was,
Interesting.
yeah. And of course, all the thing, it took me, it was many years before I did a gig in that size. It was like, probably, it was a lot of years.
Yeah.
It's probably like 7 years or something.
That's a strange place to start.
It
Queen
was,
Elizabeth
it was,
Theatre.
yeah, it was like, whoa.
Well, what happened between grade 9 and then buying this first, and
Oh, well, I mean,
instrument?
just the kind of things you'd expect, just like garage bands in high school. We played the gym, we played a dance, we would rent a hall, and
Did you feel really
you know.
cool? Like, did it just boost your ego? I want to know about the
Is that how
musician
you got
ego.
your wife, or what?
No, like, yeah, was she a fangirl?
what's that?
Was your
Was your
wife
wife
a
a
fangirl?
fangirl?
No,
No.
no. That's
why.
that's probably why we're still together.
Exactly. That's probably why.
Yeah, yeah. She's like, I mean, she enjoys my music, but she wasn't like, we didn't meet
At a show.
No, we didn't
Okay.
meet at a show. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, what was the question? Oh, what you were saying?
I was just like, I don't know. Was it the wanting to actually be the way that the music comes through you, right?
Yeah.
The musician part of it, or was it, oh, I'm going to be on stage, I'm going to be the hot gal with the guitar, or the whatever instrument you play now, all of the above. Which I wouldn't say those would be,
Bad aspirations.
yes. But I'm just saying, what was it that drew
Well, yeah.
you?
I mean, if I was saying as a teenager that I was only doing it for the music, that'd be a total lie.
Right.
Obviously,
Yeah.
there was something, there's the ego element.
Yeah.
And also in some ways, like there was this one show where my band in grade 11, we were called The Juice. Not a great name.
Nice.
J.U. Weiss.
Yeah, yeah. But we like sort of rented a hall somewhere in Burnaby, and like everybody came, like everybody, not everybody, but a lot of the people from the high school I went to came to it. And in some ways, that was like, I'm almost always chasing that kind of feeling, just as far as the ego
Yeah.
side of it. There was something about, oh my God, like
People want to see me.
people, yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't want to hear a recording maybe of that show, but that was the thing that sort of like got me hooked. And then as the decades have gone on, every year that goes by becomes less about the applause and all that. And it really just kind of becomes music after a while, about the music. Because I've played great music that got a great response. I've been in some situations playing some dodgy stuff or playing some whatever, just like a country cover thing at 2 a.m. in a bar and people going crazy. But what we're doing is kind of,
Cheese or
Yeah.
not aligned
Yeah.
with who you.
and then I've done amazing stuff for
3 people.
hardly anybody that was transcendent as far as the improvising and so and then I've done like say Rogers Arena or something with Aaron Pritchett, who is fairly popular country singer,
I worked
right?
at JR and I
Yeah, so
promoted
you would know Aaron.
Yes.
And the first time you play in a hockey rink is pretty wild, but then like the third time, it's a gig. You're trying to nail it,
Yeah.
and if you miss a part, you're like, damn, So it's all kind of, it's all kind of the same. I just find as the years go by, you just like really are just into the music,
And I also know you also have the same issue that I have, which is you're in some tribute acts, but you also have your original stuff. So deep down, I know you want to play live, but deep down is your real core about getting some of your originals out to the world, or are you more about you don't really care as long as it connects with the audience?
Well, I've always done both of those things.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like to do music all the time. That's kind of been my thing. I realized that early on.
Have you ever had another job other than music?
I in my day job in my 20s for 5 years to supplement music I was a substitute teacher
Oh, wow.
in Burnaby High School.
Teaching what? Like whatever they needed. you
Well,
to teach?
mostly English and history.
So you were-
but you'd end up doing everything.
So
and
you were
sometimes
Mis-
they
you
called
were
me
Mr.
for
Smith.
music too. I was Mr. Smith. I'd go on the road with this crazy rockabilly band called Bughouse 5. And
I know
then
Bughouse Fire. Yeah.
and then then Monday morning I would be Mr. Smith. It was a bit of a dichotomy there.
I understand that. I run a home care business, help the elderly stay at home, and on weekends I'm playing big gigs like yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I understand how it's strange, but I'm still doing it. But you made that choice, that leap to really, this is my life, which I respect immensely. You know, have you ever looked back on it and going, what did I do? Like I could have been a doctor.
No. No, I definitely
Nothing like that.
yeah.
Just no regrets.
No regrets. I feel like I've been doing what I'm
Have there
supposed to
ever
do.
been like you said, I'm an actor as well, and
Yeah.
it's been quite the journey where you kind of sell your soul sometimes to certain gigs, jobs, whatever that don't align, and then when they really align.
Yeah.
So like, what do you feel
Yeah.
like through your career
Like with playing with me.
has aligned, and maybe what hasn't, where you had to
Yeah.
pivot or
Yeah. For me, it's like I try to get the percentages right. And what I mean by that is I like to have a certain amount of gigs where it's my projects, like my Americana band, Just a Season, or my blues band, Terminal Station, where I'm singing songs that I've written. But then I love doing the side person thing, right? Like it's a blast to play with Aaron Burchett, Barney Bental, Rich Hope. Like I love all that.
just those collabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also love the other thing that's great about that is I'm not worrying at all if people are going to be there. Did we sell enough tickets? You know, all of
You're
that
just
stuff.
in the moment.
Yeah.
You're there for all the
When
right
it's,
reasons.
you know how it is. When it's your own thing, you have 100 details going through your head.
Yeah.
When the side person thing, as long as you got the songs down,
Yeah.
you're good. You're not worrying about. all
Was
that
there
other stuff.
like a
Yeah.
genre of music or, band that you had to play for that you were just, chasing the dream, and then you thought, this is just definitely not, and
Yeah,
had to,
for sure. There was a period where, sort of early 2000s, I had quit this band called Bughouse 5, and at that point, I was just sort of playing with, for lack of a better word, sort of like cool indie bands, and then I just kept that was sort of the scene I was doing, and I felt like I needed to do something different to get out of venues like the Railway Club, which is a fantastic venue, but I felt like I was just doing that. And so I ended up playing with this band called Smith and Jones that were like a country cover band that played all the places in the suburbs. These two singers they each had like 1,000 songs in their head. They were really professional cover musicians. They knew every song from the 60s to the present day, country and rock, right? And they were working all the time. And I just started playing pedal steel. So I got in with this band and I felt this could take me to a different scene. So I did that scene for a few years, about 3 or 4 years. 4-nighters, 4 sets a night. And that was really good for my playing.
Was that pedal steel or?
I played a lot of steel and then a lot of country guitar. So it was really good for my playing. In the first 2 years, I learned a hell of a lot playing all these songs. And then at a certain point, the learning curve is done. And I sort of felt like
plateauing
like it might be time to get out of this, because sometimes you would play Summer '69 twice in a night. You might play Fishing in the Dark 3 times in a night because
Good song, but
yeah, you played in the first set and then people request it, and then you're there to satisfy the crowd. So yeah, but I knew something would come of that. I would be presenting my playing to a different scene, and the thing that came out of that was the Aaron Pritchett gig. So that worked out fantastic, and I got to play with other, and that led me to a whole other thing, where I played with a lot of different artists, and I played on a lot of other people's albums. So it was the right move to do. Like,
do you look back and see all the dots and how they connected and the serendipitous moments, and how did you just trust the process, or were there any moments where you doubted yourself, or was it pretty much when you look back in hindsight now at the stage, right, and say, wow, it unfolded like so beautifully? And
yeah, I mean, it makes sense now.
It always does in hindsight.
It does
right?
in hindsight, right? Yeah. I think, you could always do things a little differently. And sometimes you're like, oh, maybe I did that a little bit too long. But there's nothing that I look back on and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Were you ever
There might
so
be- there might be-
poor that
there
you
might be
couldn't
4 gigs
pay
that
your rent, or like
Hopefully
do you
not
have
the
any
ones I play
moments?
with.
No, I always worked a lot, and then I supplement with teaching, teaching guitar, teaching pedal steel. I mean, I really enjoy teaching, actually, so I still do that.
When you play as a side player, do you sometimes think to yourself when you're, oh my God, this guy's great, I hope it takes off? Would you go with them would you join them, or are you just doing it for the recording because you want to stay on your own projects?
I play with a lot of people that'll like use me on, it might be 5 gigs. Like there's a great duo around called Duke and Goldie.
Yeah.
They used to be in Ontario, now they're in Vancouver.
So the Anza Club, right, recently?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I played there with them. So like they, the economics of touring, they do a lot of duo stuff when they tour. If they go to Ontario, they do it as a 2-piece. But when they do bigger shows, they'll get me to play steel and some guitar with them. So I'll play with them 5 times a year. And there's a lot of people like that. Or there's a guy named Antonio La Rosa.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He has his main guitar players, Emmett Jerome and Marcus Ramsey. But if they can't do it, I'll do it. So there's all these things that I'm like, there's things I'm in fully, like Aaron Pritchett. And then there's things
So you're still playing with Aaron on a regular?
Yeah. So I'll be doing, but he's not as busy as he used to be. But yeah, we've got 7 shows this summer, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what is your day-to-day, I'm just curious, your creative process as far as, these don't seem like they're easy instruments to tackle. And is it like honing your craft every day? If you don't have a gig for, like, what is your process? I'm just curious as, the receiver of the music.
Yeah.
Right? What goes into like learning this, and is it just come so naturally, or is it a lot of,
Well, it depends if
I
it's
wouldn't
pedals.
say.
It depends if it's steel or anything else.
like, have you spent hours and
Still,
hours
he's ready
and
for
hours
anything.
trying to master
You
it?
could
And
throw
it's
anything at him on the
struggle,
steel.
or is it something?
Well, I'll answer your early question. You're sort of wondering what a typical week is. And I think one of the attractions of this life that would be unattractive to a lot of people is that every week is different, So, I've had some long tours with Aaron Pritchett where we'll do like a 6-week tour. So there's that kind of life where you're in a bus, but that's not most of the year. And then, like this week is, I'm writing some songs with Rich Hope. I'm rehearsing with Barney Bentall Thursday night. We're doing a gig Friday.
At the Barn Burner?
Barn Burner.
Yes.
Yeah. And
We're gonna be
then, you'll be there. Awesome. And then
We'll be there to
Saturday I
bug you
go
some
to Pender Harbor Blues Festival and do my Allman Brothers tribute thing. So like that's this week, and I'm, practicing some steel just because I got a new one. a new steel that I'm really excited about. I sort of got the Holy Grail pedal steel, the 1973 Showbud. So I'm playing a lot of steel this week. But then the week before, I wasn't playing any steel. And I might have a week where I'm working on harmonica or guitar, or if I have a gig with Paul Pagat, we have this thing called Twin Guitar Special. Then I'm playing a lot of guitar because Paul's a monster and I've got to keep up with him. So
pretty
every week is different.
It's
Every week
just,
is
I mean,
different.
I can't wrap my brain around, I mean, just being musically talented. I'm in such awe because it's literally magic, like as the receiver of the music. And when it's just, it blows my mind. I'm just so curious how you guys, like, I don't know, how these vibrations come to life through these instruments and just, what I don't where do people start if they're young and they're 5 and they, it just seems like such a beast of a thing to learn.
Well, it's neat. It's neat that it comes across as magic.
It does. It really
because
does.
it's
A
lot of aspects of it are not magic at all.
Okay.
It's a language.
It's a language.
There's 12 notes. In most songs, you'll use 7 of those notes. In some styles of music, you'll use 5 of those notes in different octaves and stuff. So in that aspect, it's, you learn language. You're learning these words and these phrases.
Which is why music is literally the universal language.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I would not really know that because I'm just there for the experience.
Right. Yeah.
So it's fascinating to me. It's really fascinating that this is just your language, right? That you guys can come together on stage. And I mean, do you have a recipe when you go on? Do you say, okay, this is where we're going, this is where we're ending? Is it always a recipe before you go on that you're married to, or?
Well, it depends on the band. Some bands have, like the Aaron Pritchett show. We have a 90-minute show, and that show doesn't vary. It is what it is. It's really tight. It's exactly 90 minutes. And we know, and every song's the same order. If I'm sitting in with GDBC,
Yes.
that's like, there's the tunes, as you know, Grateful Dead songs. You got the tune, but that can jump off anywhere. You could decide to do it one night faithfully to the original recording, but then you could go off someplace totally different. But it's sort of like, but if people have good ears and they know their music, it's not any different than having a conversation and going off on a different topic.
Tangent.
That's really what it is. It's
Right.
just people having a conversation, but they've got their 10,000 hours of recognizing notes.
Have you ever
So
been
that they
with
can
guys
talk.
or whoever's on stage and really not felt the vibe?
Oh yeah.
Where
Yeah,
it's just
there's-
like not going well? What do you do?
yeah.
How do you navigate that when you're in the middle of it?
It's a interesting, frustrating feeling.
I don't even know, what would you do?
Well,
Like, what do you
there's-
do?
Well,
It's just not grooving.
I just keep comparing it to the conversation thing. It's like, I'm sure you've had awkward conversations where you throw something out and the person responds like oh, that went sideways, like not in a good way. And then you're having to there's no flow.
Right.
And so sometimes that happens on stage. You're playing with, luckily it doesn't happen that much anymore. But yeah, you have those situations where you're playing with somebody and they just play the song, and and if you bring more energy to a solo, they're still plugging along.
Yeah.
They're not you can tell they're not listening to the drummer. They're not listening to my solo. They're just doing their thing. And that's hard. It's very hard. And then when there's people that really hear, then there's nothing better than that. Because then you all go someplace together, and you go places that transcend what you've,
I've transcended
done
with him
before.
a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it like? Like, okay, when you guys gel and transform, like,
That's why
how do
we-
you
that's
put
why
that
we do
into
it.
words? What is it like from just a bro musician perspective? I'm just curious. Like, is it just you can't even put it into words, or?
Well, the one thing I could say, just to say a little bit, is when you do have these conversations successfully, like Scott and I know each other, and we're getting to know each other better over the years. But I think we feel like we know each other because we've played music with each other, and we've talked. So there's some people I've played music with, and I'm sure you're the same, where you've barely even talked to them. You practice the music, you go on stage, and then that's it. But you feel like you know that person just from that live music experience.
Yeah. To answer your question, what the peak moments, which are the things I really live for now. We were talking earlier about being a teenager where it's more about the ego thing, like, oh my God, people are clapping. What I live for now is those moments where everybody's really listening, interacting. Like the band is operating as one thing. And the coolest thing is sometimes you get to a point where you feel like you're not doing it. You feel like you're actually, this has happened, and not and
Like
without
it's the divine coming
without
through you?
and without drugs too.
Right?
I'll feel like I'm looking down on it.
Existential.
Yeah, like I'll close my eyes and I'm just looking down. I'm watching the thing unfold, but I'm not doing it. It's just going.
Like,
and it
yeah,
just-
you're just
yeah.
the vessel.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a cool feeling. And then time is gone when that happens. You're not thinking about I think music is one of the only things where like you can sort of erase time for a while. You don't feel it passing,
No, it's
moving on.
You just
you're
escape everything.
You're just in a thing.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
in it, and
Yeah.
it's like the most. It brings you back to happy you. It brings you back to your full, authentic, in the moment. So, have there been maybe a couple moments like epic? If you could narrow them down to a couple of the most divinely orchestrated, epic moments on stage, what would you say they were, and who you were playing with?
Well, yeah, the thing, there's such personal things that, I don't think any of them would make a great
Story.
story.
Okay.
Was the as far as like a podcast, the better stories are like, when your lead singer, fell off the stage, and, like those things.
Yeah, like, okay, well, give us a couple good, memorable.
Those are the better stories. But as far as the peak music thing, for me, it's just there's these. We were talking about shipyards earlier. When I was doing this, I was playing a Santana song called Samba Party, and it was just a sunny day, and it was just one of those times where I did this lengthy solo, and at no point during that solo was I feeling like it was just all flow. That's the peak thing for me, is when it's just all flow, no second guessing, everything's moving where it should, and it has this story to it.
Okay, well, let's talk about flow,
Yeah.
because just as far as a music career, it couldn't have all been flow.
Oh, no.
Right?
Well,
Like some
yeah.
moments where you really thought, okay, I can't do this anymore, or like something's not working, or life challenged you, and I don't know, just these. I know in my life, and I'm
Yeah.
sure Gord too, that there's just
Particularly
these
having
epic
kids is tough.
moments where it takes you back to the music, or you might have gotten diverted, or something shook up your life.
Well, I've always, since 1995, I've been consistently gigging, every week, basically. So I don't think I've had any moment where I need to quit music. But I've had times where I've need to shift. I talked about the whatever, it's 2:15 a.m. and you're doing Fishing in the Dark for the third time that night. Those are those moments
Are
where
you
you're
doing
like,
any gigs now that
maybe.
you like? Because you obviously do this for a living, or are you doing some of them for the living, or would you say all the things you're doing are actual?
everything I Everything I do,
So you're,
I enjoy.
that's great.
Yeah, I might have one gig every 2 years at this point,
Wow,
where
that's
I'm like,
fantastic.
I shouldn't have done that one. You know, like I'll.
I mean, do you believe in,
Yeah.
do what you love and the money will follow? Is that
Um,
something that you have kind of just continue doing what you love and the money will come? I mean,
I've followed that
Because you
for
definitely,
sure,
you definitely haven't picked
but-
the easiest
but
path.
but in the last, and the money has followed, but you know, there's been some brutal changes in the music industry
yeah, let's talk
especially
about
in the
those.
last
Yeah.
5 years.
What's
you know,
the biggest challenge that you?
well, I mean, just one thing, for instance, would be that, say, if we go back 15 years or something, or 2015, it's 2005 or it's 2010, 10 even. If your original band, if you wanted to make an album, now you could get a grant, and that's one thing that's great about Canada. But if you didn't get a grant, or you didn't have a label, you could record your stuff knowing that you could press some CDs and you'd sell them at your gigs. And you'd recoup what you made, and then if you're selling a lot of them, you'd start making some money, right? And that is just gone.
Yeah.
So I think that's a hard thing about being an original artist now, is just that the recording of the music, and to be an original band, like, you have to record your music to have a feeling of progress, documenting where you're at, and moving forward, as like, you feel like if you've gone too many years without a new album, you start to sort of feel like your band is like treading water. You need to put out music, right? So the frustrating thing now is that we still have to do that, but you can't really recoup from that anymore. And I get some things in film and TV, and that's all good, but I used to get that 15 years ago too. So like, that's just gone, like.
Have you found that people like vinyl or no?
Yeah, well,
little bit.
It's made a comeback,
here's the
no?
thing. Vinyl has made a comeback. I love vinyl, but it's not the same
not the same.
profit margin, and vinyl's, it's been inflated as far as filling that gap,
Yeah.
like, you can sell some vinyl, and certain genres, like if maybe you're like a psych band or something like that, they'll sell a bit more vinyl, but it hasn't really filled that thing of where, like my blues band in Terminal Station, say in 2008, and we weren't, famous band by any means, and we're just getting played on the local radio. Remember the Shore?
Yes. Yes.
But that's it. We're just getting played there and on the blues specialty shows and CKUA. We're not big band at all, but we could make an album, and we would play a few gigs every week, and anytime we played, you could sell. Might just be 4, but it might be 4 to 10 CDs at $15 or $20, and and so, and then you could make another one, and I regret, I miss that.
Yeah.
But do you guys
And you can
make a
sell-
lot of money
Yeah.
on when you're playing live?
Well, it's about the same as it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is.
And as far as local gigs, yeah,
Okay.
it's about the same as it's been for, that's a frustrating thing. And
Yeah.
and I love that you're asking me this, and this, on social media, this is sort of the thing that's not too talked about, because we generally present how fabulous playing music is, because it is, and how awesome it is, and how cool it is. But, the average local gig is the same it's about the same as 1999.
No
You know,
way.
it just
No
kind
way.
of, yeah, it is.
Unfortunately, he's
And-
telling the truth.
And
Really?
most people won't say that because it's almost embarrassing to say that because you know, then people are like, oh, I feel sorry for you, or you know what I mean, or like, how could you let that happen? And it's like, well, it's not all on me, or I don't know, but
That's for local gigs. I mean, of
that's
course.
that's for just
Yeah.
sort of your local club, bar, restaurant gig, and
Do you think it's harder in Canada for musicians than it is in the US? Because I mean, just the music scene seems so much further ahead in the US, in my opinion. I mean, I went to school down there. I'm Canadian, but I just, as a dancer, the music scene it's still, I mean, I just went on Jam Cruise and I'm just curious, like you're Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think of like where music is right now in Canada? Is it evolving? Are we catching up? Is it the same level? I don't
think
know.
every city is different,
Yeah.
and it depends what genre you're in. But there isn't really a city where like any musician is making a ton of money from
Right.
local gigs.
Right.
Like in Nashville, the most amazing players in the world on Broadway, you know, they're not making a ton of money either.
So what was the moment
what's-
that people started to really learn and know Scott Smith? Like do you think kind of catapulted you into a little bit more maybe bigger name around town or
you know, everything for me has been this real
build?
gradual
Slow
build.
burn.
In some ways that's maybe why I'm
Still in it?
yeah
Right.
yeah
Okay. Commitment, consistency.
yeah, I guess
yeah,
so.
Yeah.
But the Project gig was good for raising my profile across Canada because we've toured so much across Canada. And before that, I mean, I toured before that with a band called Bottleneck and Bughouse 5 and that, but that helped raise my profile and got me playing more sessions. And then doing the Barney Bentall gig really like opened me up to different music roots, sort of the root scene in different cities, and just allowed me to connect with people like Leroy Stagger, who became somebody who I would record with and tour with, and just so many amazing musicians. Like through Barney, I got to, share the stage with people like William Prince and, fantastic people like that. And, Bill Henderson of Chilliwack, I got to play with him, and I got to play like,
Like this
Fly
grin is
by
amazing.
Night. Got to play Fly at Night, and he threw me the solo, and like I knew it. I was ready for it. Yeah, so
You
like
just go home and not be able to
things like
sleep
that.
because it was just such a
Yeah.
high.
or through Barney, like I've played, I've got to play maybe 10 or 12 gigs with Jim Cuddy. And you're playing
5 days in May or something.
you're playing these Blue Rodeo songs, and I've had these moments where like, I'm just really concentrating, making sure I get it, and I'm just like locking in with the drum, just all the regular things you do on a normal gig, but then the voice is there, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm playing a Blue Rodeo song, but I'm playing it with there's the guy, it's Jim Cuddy, there's that
Right?
voice, and he sings as good as he
He always sings
did,
one. Yeah.
It's like, so things like that are pretty cool,
So with obviously money always is a funny thing with music. It's elusive a little bit, even though
yeah.
we're addicted to the music because I'm like yourself. Are you happy with when you think of the future? Is there something you're aspiring for, or you just want to? You're just so happy with the way things are in your life, and you just want this to carry on because you can carry on because this is a good even keel for you at this point.
Well, for me, the goal has always been to keep doing it because I love doing it, and I love the people who do it, right? Like, that's a big part of it too. You know how you just like connect
Yeah.
with musicians. You know, they're like, these are my people.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't, but I can imagine.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know. No, I do.
So for me, it's just, I just want to keep doing it forever, you know? And so I think that's also one of the reasons why I do a lot of things, because I've always seen that as, that's my way of doing it,
Yeah.
as opposed to like, I love,
Pigeonholing yourself
Yeah.
into one.
or like, I love doing my own thing and being lead singer, songwriter, but I know that I could burn myself out on that.
Yeah.
And then as a singer, I don't have that. Also, I'm in my early 50s now. I don't, you know, I'm not the age or have the star quality to like
Sure you do.
make it big. But it's important for me to do that. But also, I have a family, 2 kids, so I need to make a living. So the road work with as a side person, that does pay very well. The studio stuff pays well. So if I have this combination of things that are like passion project, like releasing an instrumental pedal steel album, doing a gig at a small venue like Tyrant. You know, that one is not bringing in a ton of money, but it's so important to me.
Would you say the live music is the most important part to you? Or studio,
I like doing both, and then they complement each other, because the recording goal is, you know,
is to go live.
Is you know, that's what you're writing and composing for, is like to make that recording, but then you need the new stuff to make the gig fresh. And then the other thing is when you're recording and your music is under a microscope, that elevates your playing. And then when you do the gig, you're playing the live gig better. Yeah. But then if you just did studio stuff, you might not have a ton, you might become a little sedate in your playing. And the live gigs always make sure that you're like,
it's true.
You know, so I think they complement each other.
Okay, I have a bit of a random question.
Yeah.
Just from a female, you know, I've always kind of crushed hard on musicians, right? It's a bad thing, but I'm just curious, like, how do you maintain the balance with the relationship and the family and the kids and like being on the road? I'm just curious how you've been able to maintain.
It's not always easy, for sure. My wife and I, we've been together since we were 20. So I think that's maybe an important thing, in that like we were together when I was just at university and playing like
And
the
she believed in you.
UBC pub. I don't know.
She supported you. She believed in you. She was the person that let you.
But also our thing like didn't start with like music. It didn't start in a bar. It didn't start with her thinking, you know, oh, you're such a great guitar player. And actually, I wasn't a very good guitar player then. I was, you know, so it wasn't, our relationship wasn't based on any sort of like fandom, you know.
But
we
like,
just
with
like
the
really
kids,
like
if you're on
each other.
tour, you're traveling, and how you like your kids get it. Is it just it's just the way it is?
Do you have groupies?
I think they think it's just the way it is,
And they're used to it, and it's
another thing is my wife, until recently, she worked for Earls for 20 years. She was like their head interior designer. So she did a bit of traveling, actually quite a bit of traveling. So she would go to, say they were opening a new restaurant in Miami or something. So she might go to Miami for 5 days or something, or they're opening a new one in Boston or something. So she would travel too. So we both traveled. I think she would generally stay in better hotels than I did. But so we both...
Your stories were better.
We both had that role, like one of us is away and then the other one is at home with the kids.
Yeah, partnership.
So in some ways, it worked out pretty good, because like I could go on the road and I didn't have, like, it's fun being on the tour. And I could actually express that it was fun, because she got to do that too. She could go to Miami and be like, oh yeah, it's great, you know, having a great time. Whereas I think if I was the only one traveling, I think I might have to be like, oh, you know, another gig. You know, sound check was long. I might have to like make it look like
Do
it
you see
wasn't
an
as
aspiring
fun,
musician
you know.
in either of your kids?
My older son, who's 20, just finished his second year at CAP. He's a really good jazz sax player.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
In the blood.
yeah. But he outplays me on jazz standards.
Okay, and Gord, we'll wrap it up here, but Gord really wants
Yeah.
to know about.
Oh yeah, you got a good head of hair,
Yeah.
but you always wear a hat. So I was just wondering.
Well,
the
it's
story
pretty
behind-
gray at this point.
But you
I
at
just
least,
started wearing hats
Your signature.
years ago.
He's like, he's got the signature.
is that
Yeah,
your
yeah.
signature look? That's like
Yeah,
not to embarrass you or anything.
yeah. Not, but I've probably been wearing hats for 20 years at this
So I
point.
get into wearing hats too
Yeah.
sometimes for sure.
And you know, the funny thing is, if I want to, I'm not saying I get recognized all the time,
Okay.
but if say if I go to a show where there's a lot of people I know, musicians, other musicians, or just music fans that might know me, I'm not wearing a hat. A lot of people don't.
And so they
recognize you.
recognize you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's my disguise.
So that's your
take off.
That's
the
kind of
hat.
your staple signature.
that's how you go and turn into Clark Kent. Take your hat off.
Yes.
Okay, and if there's just one person that you could collaborate with that's still living right now, that you know,
And play live with them.
I mean, I'd love to work with like Daniel Lanois. It'd be so amazing to make an album with him, be a part of an album that he was producing. That would be
dream.
a dream. That would be dream. There's heroes of mine that like it would that you'd almost be scared to meet, like a Van Morrison or a Dylan would probably let you down, right? You know,
Good.
I wouldn't want to meet them. You know, I mean, I'd love to play with,
Yeah, for sure.
to sit in with, you know, the Rolling Stones. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, so much
Yeah.
good conversation. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thanks
Scott.
so much,
Thank
Scott.
you,
It is
Stephanie.
Scott Smith, Not Fade Away podcast. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.